Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk fantasy sports with you, Cowboy. I'm excited to be here today. Dr. Dan Ratner is not going to be here boring you with his computer, showing you stats, talking fantasy basketball. I'm going to talk about everything today. I want to talk about fantasy basketball. We're going to talk about baseball opening days next week. We're going to talk about NCAA. We're going to talk about hockey. Anything you want to talk about sports wise, even entertainment wise, I will talk to you about it. I'm Ross the Boss. And I'm happy to be here. If you like what you see, even if you don't like what you see, make sure you subscribe, press that bell, comment, ask me questions anytime on anything, because I'm Ross the Boss and I enjoy answering any questions you might have. We'll get right into it. Let's talk basketball because that's my favorite subject right now. We're going to talk about NBA really quick. The trade deadline is Thursday. A lot of stuff is going on. LA Lakers, LeBron James, he's out for 4 weeks. He's not going to play. Oh, I'm so nervous. The Lakers aren't going to be making the playoffs. The Lakers are making the playoffs. Stop whining. Anthony Davis will be back. LeBron will be back for the playoffs. It doesn't matter. They're not playing right now. It's probably a good thing. Do you see what happened in Charlotte with LaMelo Ball? Rookie of the year, broke his wrist. He's gone for the year. Not a good thing because I have LeBron Ball on I have LaMelo Ball on my team, and that's a huge blow for me. But again, LeBron James will be back. The Lakers are going to do some wheeling and dealing. They'll be getting some players. You'll be seeing some new names in LA, probably the next 48 hours. You'll be hearing some big news. I actually have a question here. It's from Dan Ratner. I know who that is, but Dan Ratner, I'm Ross the Boss. I'm happy you're with us. I'm so excited about baseball. I want to get straight to that. Okay, he wants to talk baseball. Let's get bold predictions for the season. Okay, we'll do some bold predictions. Name a start from a hitter that will surprise you for the year. So he wants me to name some surprising hitters that will surprise us during the year. Some hitters who I think are going to do great. I love this kid who plays in the White Sox. We talked about him many times, Luis Roberta, but his last name is I think it's Spanish, so it's Roberto, but we call him Robert because we're English. Luis Robert, who plays for the White Sox, I feel is going to have a huge year. He reminds me of Ricky Henderson. He's unbelievable. I like him a lot. I think Cody Bellinger is going to bounce back. He hit 250 last year. Didn't have that many home runs. Really an off year, but remember, it was a kind of a strange year for everybody. I think Cody Bellinger is going to bounce back. Another guy I love is Paul Goldschmidt. I feel Paul Goldschmidt's way undervalued right now. He plays in St. Louis. He's going to have an MVP type year. So there's a lot of players that are going to bounce back. We'll see some great players. David Price, who even played last year, he's going to be bouncing back too. He might even be the LA Dodgers closer. That's the rumor in LA. David Price is going to be the closer in LA. Can you imagine that? You got a Cy Young winner who's going to be your closer, and then they have all those great starters. The Dodgers are going to be tough to beat. I mean, I did like how Trevor Bauer got hit badly against the Seattle Mariners yesterday. He gave up 3 home runs, and by the 4th inning, he was out of the game, which I enjoy because I think his ego's blowing up a little too much with all the Instagrams and all the Twitter stuff he does. So maybe this will humble him a little bit, Trevor Bauer. You're not going to be some maniac doing all these tweets and pitching with one eye and hitting batters. All that stuff's going to come to an end. So if you want to play those games, it's not going to be a good one. So any more questions out there, I'll be happy to answer them. Another thing I want to talk about, we talked about Lakers. Last night, the Clippers were unbelievable. The Clippers were down by 20 points. They brought their second unit in, right? They're down by 20, second unit in. They brought this guy named Kenner came in. He was shooting he was 8 for 8. He had like 20 points, shooting threes from all over the place. The Clippers came storming back. They ended up winning the game against Atlanta, and they actually won that game with their third string team. I mean, it was like their third string was playing and then they caught up, and then they brought the starters in. It was unbelievable. I like the Clippers still to win the West. We'll see what happens. LeBron's going to be back. I was trying to tell you guys that. Don't be concerned about LeBron. I don't think he'll be back soon. He's not going to be back until late April. They're not going to push this guy to come back. Remember, he's 36 years old. So I feel don't worry about LeBron. But if you're a fantasy player, I would be concerned about LeBron. Hold on one second. Let me just fix something really quick on my screen here. Okay, good. I'm gonna fix this. Okay, I'm back in business. Okay, sorry about that, folks. So NBA, can ask me anything about NBA. I love talking about it. The trade deadline, as I mentioned, is on Thursday. There's going to be a lot of movement. Andre Drummond, the big rumor in LA, is he's going to come here to play for the Lakers. Either he'll be traded or he'll just be released, which is unbelievable. And this guy is a two-time All-Star. He's averaging 14 points a game, 14 rebounds a game. He's definitely still in his prime. He's only 28 years old. So I don't know why nobody wants this guy. He hasn't played in a month, though, so it could be a little rusty, but it doesn't matter. I know this guy's going to be ready, and I feel the Lakers, they really have no one to name that they can trade for him, but doesn't matter. They'll figure out a way to get Andre Drummond here with the Lakers. That's going to be a big boost for them. They're going to have unbelievable rebounding, and they'll have a big man. And I have a question from Dan something. I can't read his last name, but what basketball and baseball player is most liked by Ross the Boss? So in basketball this year, I know we just talked about it. I love LaMelo Ball. I mean, I was so upset when I heard yesterday that he broke his wrist. He's out for the year. I love LaMelo Ball. I love James Harden. Went to Arizona State. We'll talk about NCAA. I love NCAA. We'll talk about that. I promise you. And then in baseball, I'm a huge Reds fan. You know, Pete Rose, Dave Concepcion, Tony Perez, but current players, I love Mookie Betts. I love Mike Trout. I love those type of players that can do everything, hit, run, steal, you name it, they do it. But those are the type of players I enjoy watching. James Ward, I got a question from James Ward. Can you describe for a newbie the thought process in picking a utility in Major League Baseball? I will tell you about picking utility. So utility is a position in fantasy baseball that any position can play. So if you're an outfielder, a first baseman, shortstop, it doesn't matter what position you play, you can be a utility player. And there's some players like Nelson Cruz that are in Yahoo that only are utility guys. So there you go. But you don't have to have that spot. So when you pick a utility guy, you want him to be a great hitter. I mean, obviously you want to pick a hitter because he can be at any position. You're not pigeonholed. So you can pick anybody you want to be a utility guy to hit. So some leagues have 2 utility guys, some have 1, some have none, but I've been in leagues where there's been like 3 utility guys. So it really makes you stack up in hitting in the beginning and you worry about pitching after the draft. But again, you can with utility, you can easily just fill that spot with really a great hitter. That's my suggestion to you. And if you guys want to come on, subscribe, ask me a question. I'll answer anything. If you guys love fantasy, if you don't like fantasy, if you want to talk sports, if you want to talk entertainment, I don't care. I can talk about anything. I have a vast information. And also we have this great feature. This is unbelievable feature that we added that I love. You can come on live. We can see your face. You can go back to back with Ross the Boss. You can argue with me and stuff I said that you don't believe in. All you have to do is, it's easy. All you have to do is call mfsn.com. It's that easy. Let me say, for the easier people, www.callmfsn.com. So you put that in your computer. It'll tell you what to do. You can come on live and talk to Ross the Boss, and I'll answer anything you want live on the YouTube. It's unbelievable. So as we're getting a lot of baseball questions, spring training is going on right now. Next week, we have opening day, which I'm excited about. It's going to be a great season this year. We're playing the whole season. There's not going to be any interruptions. Hopefully all the players are getting vaccinated. Hopefully everything will be in order. That all being said, everybody's drafting right now in fantasy baseball. If you're drafting this week or even next week, make sure you go on MFSN and look at all our videos on fantasy baseball, because we have some great tips. We tell you who to draft. We tell you what to do. We tell you what to look out for. And it's a great way for you to have an advantage in your league, because you're talking to one of the biggest experts right now in fantasy sports, Ross the Boss, and I know everything. And we have Casey Scheinfeld, who's unbelievable. This guy's track record is one of the best in the world. He's another expert that's with me on these shows, and we talk fantasy baseball, and also Dr. Dan Ratner. He's just not one of the best doctors in the world. He's one of the biggest fantasy players in the world. He's unbelievable. You got to watch us. We got to watch us talk about fantasy, because we don't agree all the time, but we do agree on some things, and you guys have to watch. It's a great show to do. But let's go back. Let's talk about college basketball real quick, which there's 16 teams left. These are my top 4 teams that are left. You know, these are my ratings going into Sweet 16. Gonzaga, just because they haven't lost yet. The number 2 team, you got to take Baylor. That's who I picked to win the whole thing. Ross the Boss picked them. My number 3 team is Michigan. Number 4 is Alabama. Those are my top 4 right now. I got to give some big props to the Pac-12. I never respected that conference this year just because the past what happened. But this year, they have 4 out of the 5 teams that are in the tournament are still in it. They're playing unbelievable. Pac-12, I'm a Pac-12 graduate. Congratulations. It's unbelievable. I got a question from James Ward. James Ward, so if you got bats in your lineup like Mookie, he's a great bat. Judge is not great just because he strikes out a lot. You know, he'll bat probably around 250. But again, he's a big hitter, and he'll get your RBIs. And Tatis, who's a top 5 player, do you add another hitter? You know, my rule is you draft the best player available. So if you're in a draft and there's a certain player, let's say there's a certain player that shouldn't be there. For some reason, people passed on him. I don't know why. No one saw him. You should go after the best player available. Don't fill your roster just because if your first 5 players are hitters, that's fine. Don't worry about pitching until a little later. It just depends who's available. That's my best advice I can give you, because you can trade later and get better players. So don't be concerned about filling a position spots, especially in 10 people's leagues, because there's a lot of stuff on the waiver wire. And I've won many leagues not worrying about pitching till like the very end. So don't worry about that, James. Just best player available. So NCAA, I wanted to finish talking about the NCAA. It's been unbelievable. A 15 seed is still in it. I know the network doesn't like seeing it, because when you have these small teams like Oral Roberts still in the tournament, it doesn't help them with ratings. But I mean, remember Oral Roberts was asking everybody for $8 million. He was asking to raise $8 million. Remember that? He was like a crazy televangelist guy. He was like, you know, he was like this crazy televangelist guy. Now he's a college named after him, and the college is in the Sweet 16. It's unbelievable. I just can't believe what's happened in the NCAA. It's so much fun to watch. I hope everybody's watching it. I know my eyes were glued to it. I mean, just the upsets, but Gonzaga looks like, I mean, that team's for real. I did not respect them just because the conference they played in, but you know what? I respect them now, and I think they're the team to beat right now in the NCAA. I love Baylor too. I picked them. We got Sam Jakobowitz, who is a regular viewer for us. Hi, Sam. How are you? Hope school's going well. Which side in this trade do you like? Both. He's talking baseball, so it's Charbel, Jimenez, and JT Waduno and Josh Bell. So I believe it's a 2-for-2 trade. I like when you get the best catcher in the league right now is JT Wamudo. And I just feel if you get him on your team, you have a huge advantage. So I like that side of the trade. Obviously, you get Bell, Josh Bell, who's I'm not a huge fan of, but getting JT is a huge upswing. And if you can get him in a trade, trading those 2 guys is huge. But there you go. That's my opinion. I think that makes sense. No, you're asking bets. No, you don't trade away bets. No, I see what you're asking now. Keep bets. Don't trade bets. Keep them. Bets is probably the best player in the National League. Don't trade him away. Just keep him. Don't do something stupid. Unless you're getting him, but it doesn't matter. NCAA really quick. So we got the Sweet 16 coming up. I don't know who you guys like, but let me know who you like. Let me know who you're predicting to win the whole thing. We're down to 16 teams. 4 of them are Pac-12 teams, which is unbelievable. I'm so impressed by the Pac-12. No one ever would predict that there would be 4 teams left in Pac-12 and only 1 team left in the Big Ten, which everybody was bragging how great the Big Ten is. The only team that is left is Michigan, and they are good. but I think Michigan is beatable. I feel Alabama is a good team. I can't believe Oklahoma State lost. I had them going far. Let me know how your brackets are doing also. Everybody I talked to, their brackets are destroyed. And it makes sense. I mean, nobody I know took Oregon State. Nobody I knew took Oral Roberts. Nobody I knew took Loyola Marymount, which is a great story. I love that. I love that sister Jean. I think she's great. 102 years old. She's at the game clapping. She's really having a great time. I mean, to watch Illinois go down by Loyola Marymount in Chicago, that's like unbelievable. I mean, one seed went down to a very small school in Chicago, probably 10% of the college population of the University of Illinois has. It's unbelievable that school won. It was a great upset. I enjoy the upsets. Let me know what teams you like and what teams you like to watch on college basketball. Please type in if you have any comments. If you want to come on the air and talk to me, please do it. Call mfsn.com, www.callimfsn.com. I'll be happy to talk to you about sports. And another sport that we do regularly here is hockey, and I love talking hockey with everybody. Hockey season we're getting to the very end now. There's only about 4 weeks left, and then we start the playoffs. Let me know what teams you like. Let me know who's doing well. There's a lot of players that are hurt, but they'll be back very soon. I love talking hockey. I don't know if you have any certain questions. Tell me who your team is. We're almost done with hockey season, but we'll be doing a hockey special next week on MFSN. Make sure you watch. But let's go back. We'll talk about NBA fantasy basketball if you guys want to talk about that. I mean, as I mentioned, the trade deadline is coming up. It's on Thursday. There's a lot of guys that are out there that are going to be traded. It's going to affect your fantasy team big time. I think Houston's going to make some trades. I don't know if John Wall is going to be traded, but he might. Hit a triple-double last night. Houston, 20-game losing streak. They broke it last night. John Wall had a triple-double. I mean, the coach was interviewed. Silas was interviewed after. He was like in tears crying. I mean, he was so happy he won. You could see the smile like through his mask too, which is great. Again, 20-game losing streak. I mean, they haven't won since like February 5th. It was unbelievable. But again, unbelievable that somebody would have a 20-game losing streak right now in the NBA with all the, it must be parity, but I guess it's not. Obviously, there's teams that are a lot better. But you'll be seeing the New York Knicks are going to make a lot of improvements. You're going to see I think Charlotte's going to sign some players up. There's going to be a lot of, I think the Clippers are going to make a trade for a point guard. You'll see that happen too. I don't know who they're going to get. Maybe DeRozan. I don't know who the Clippers are going to get, but they'll be making trades too. Just be aware there's going to be a lot of trades going on in basketball, and we'll be talking about that next week. It's going to affect your fantasy team a lot. So make sure you're just aware what you should do, who you should pick up. A lot of people will be starters. A lot of people won't get much playing time, but we'll keep you up to date. We'll let you know what's going on. I'm Ross the Boss. Let's talk football really quick. A lot of football stuff is happening just because the draft's coming up in about a month. But, right now, Trevor Lawrence is the number one draft pick, and then Wilson for BYU's too. They say the Jets are going to take Wilson and try to trade Donald. I don't know if that's the greatest idea, but let's go after a quarterback again. New York Jets. Don't worry about any other position. Don't worry about their offensive line or defense or anything else. Just get your quarterback. I mean, I'm being facetious. I mean, it's the dumbest thing. I don't know why they're not thinking, when you have the number 2 pick, let's trade it and get some more draft picks and fill other positions. How about that, New York Jets? But no, they'll get this quarterback and he'll get destroyed. He'll get hurt because he has no offensive line, just like what happened to Donald. And it's the same it's the same thing every year with the Jets. I don't know what they're thinking, but I feel there's going to be a lot of trades. I think Russell Wilson might be leaving Seattle. You heard it from me first, Ross the Boss. I don't think Russell Wilson will be staying in Seattle. He already said, now he's coming out and saying, I want Antonio Brown to be on my team. I mean, all of a sudden the quarterback's making demands who he wants to play with. It's unbelievable. I mean, I never thought I would see players demanding who they want to play with. I mean, it's usually up to the owner because it's his money, or it's up to the GM, not the player. But I won't be surprised if Russell Wilson is traded to the Chicago Bears. I know the Bears signed Andy Dalton. Everybody says, "Oh, that's their quarterback. He's not going to be starting." Are you insane? There's no Andy Dalton's not going to be starting for the Chicago Bears. He's their backup. So, Chicago Bears are going to be making a big trade. They'll be signing somebody big. You'll be seeing it probably around draft time. But you heard it from me first, Ross the Boss. I feel there's going to be a lot of movement around the NFL with quarterbacks. And tell me who you're thinking. Tell me who you think is going to be moving around. Deshaun Watson, is he going to be leaving with all the charges that are against him? Who knows what's happening with him? I mean, he has more lawsuits than anybody. I mean, he has 14 lawsuits against him. So I don't know what team wants to touch him, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I have no idea, but I do know he's a great quarterback on the field. I would love to have him on my team. So that being said, I can't predict the future, but I'm excited for the future just because there's so much stuff going on in the NFL. And I love talking baseball, as you know. So talking about baseball, opening day, tell me who you like. Tell me who's your team. Tell me who you're rooting for. I mean, there's a lot of teams that improved a lot. I mean, the San Diego Padres, that pitching staff with Yu Darvish, and I mean, their pitching staff is like stacked. I mean, they have unbelievable talent in San Diego now for pitching, and the Dodgers do too. So the Dodgers and San Diego, I feel, are the best two pitching staffs in the league, and they'll be battling for that West spot. I mean, I think they'll both make the playoffs, but just depends on who's going to be winning the division. It's going to be very close. Both teams have unbelievable hitting and pitching. It's going to be a great season for baseball. It's going to be great. Tell me who you like. Tell me what teams that you feel is going to win the division or you win the World Series. I mean, I feel the Dodgers are going to be tough to beat. They can take the crown again if they stay healthy, and it's all about staying healthy. If a team doesn't stay healthy, it's going to hurt them. I mean, look at LA. I mean, they didn't have any major injuries. Kershaw was pitching like a champion in the World Series, in the playoffs. He was unbelievable. Trevor, it was a great season for the Dodgers just because there was no major injuries. Mookie was great. Everybody was great. You got Seager was great. I mean, all these guys were healthy. They were playing, and that's why they won the World Series. And I think that's the most important factor in baseball is staying healthy. My predictions, I'm taking the White Sox to win the American League, and I like the Dodgers again, as much as I hate to say it, to win the National League. But things can change if somebody gets hurt. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but I like the White Sox Dodgers World Series. We'll see what happens. You heard it from me first. If you disagree, please let me know in the comments. Because I love talking baseball. That all being said, let's talk about NFL again. I want to go back to the NFL. I feel that this year in the NFL, you're going to see about a third of the quarterbacks on different teams this year. It's going to be a whole moving around situation. You're not going to see the same quarterback on your team this year, except the obvious ones. Obviously, Brady's not leaving Tampa Bay, but in New England, you'll be seeing a new starting quarterback. I feel New England's going to be drafting a quarterback. I think they'll take Mac Jones from Alabama. I feel they have the 15th pick or 14th pick, New England. Mac Jones fits their system. He's a winner. That's what Belichick likes. He likes guys from big schools like Tom Brady that knows how to win. So Mac Jones, I think, will be a Patriot. I think he'll start his rookie year, and he'll be good. Mac Jones will be a great pick for the New England Patriots. Let me know who you think the Patriots quarterback will be. I just know Belichick, and I know what he likes, and I just know he's not going to go out being under 500 like he did last year. He's going to come back. He has a great defense coming back. He has a great offensive line. He just needs some position players to fill those spots, and they'll be back in the playoffs. So don't wave away New England so quickly. I just feel that their team is very, very strong this year. We got somebody coming on the air that wants to talk to Ross the Boss. James Ward, You asked me 2 questions today. Welcome to MFSN. What's going on, bud?
What's up, Ross? Calling from San Antonio, Texas here. And yeah, I've been following y'all stuff. Great content, by the way, for a newbie in baseball. And yeah, I think last year I just kind of watched the ESPN highlights on guys like Fernando Tatis and Mookie Betts. And after following y'all's advice, I drafted a team with a friend who invited me in. I think they're all pretty good fantasy guys. And so
let's hear who some of your team is. Let me hear who you drafted. I'm curious to see who you. And now, tell me about your league. How many teams are in it? How many categories and stuff like that?
It's a head-to-head points league, and it is 10 teams.
Okay.
From guys across the country. In honor of y'all's show, I'm the South Texas Mookie Monsters.
Okay.
And so
it's a points league. So let me tell our fans, a points league is like when a player hits a home run or when he gets an RBI, they get a point or maybe more than 1 point. And same with pitchers. If you pitch an inning or if you get an out, you get a point, or if you get a win, you get 5 points or 10 points. So just so everybody knows, it's a little different than rotisserie, but it all equals up kind of the same, but keep going.
Okay. And so even just to clarify, at the end of the game, it's a total points versus a total points. There's no pitching versus pitching. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's total points. Correct. And it's weekly, right? You go against a different team every week.
Yeah.
And is it how many waiver wires do you get a week? Is it limited or unlimited?
It's $100 of waiver wire.
But you don't have to. You can spend zero. It just depends if somebody else bids.
Yeah.
So that all being said, it's unlimited waiver wires for the year. So on these type of leagues, what I like to do is I kind of look at the starting pitchers for the next day, and I like having 1 or 2 pitching spots that I don't really care about, that aren't like great pitchers, and I like to have a starting pitcher like at least once a day pitching, because pitching points are huge. So you got to be active every day. Okay. You can't just sit back on your team and not. You gotta go on, and it'll tell you on Yahoo like who's pitching the next day. We'll take probable pitchers. There's a category for that, and you just press that, and you'll see what pitchers you have to choose from. Because a lot of people don't use that feature, and a lot of people they'll just keep the pitchers they have, which makes no sense. You want to get as many starts as you can in a point league, because having a bad ERA doesn't hurt you. It's amount of how many outs you get.
So in light of that, if you've got guys like Yu Darvish on your lineup, my pitching staff is Yu Darvish, Kenta Maeda, Tyler Mahle, is that right? And then Pablo Lopez, Marco Gonzalez, Rafael Montero, Alex Colomé, and Giovanni Gallegos. Are there guys in there where you're like, yeah, get ready to ditch this guy? Would you keep?
Yeah, I mean, again,
Yu Darvish.
A lot of guys. I mean, Yu Darvish, that's a for sure keeper. Marco Gonzalez, I like a lot. He's a young gun from Seattle. I mean, I like your pitching staff. I just feel a lot of them are like replaceable. Yeah. You don't want to do. I mean, I think there's 1 or 2 guys that you can like waive and no one's going to pick up, and don't worry about it. And I just want to remind the audience, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, MFSN, even Twitter. We're always putting new content on. We're actually on TikTok also. We're having a great time with TikTok. But if you guys haven't signed up yet for any of those social media things, please sign up and follow us. And then let me hear about your hitting.
Yeah. So my lineup right now is Salvador Perez at catcher, Pete Alonso at first base, Jeff McNeil at second base, Brian Hayes at third, Fernando Tatis at shortstop, Miguel Sano at infield.
Okay.
Which is kind of
the weird thing about Sano is, and I'll say it to you, he strikes out a lot, and his batting average is very weak. I don't know if you remember, but last year, or it was the year before, he didn't play because he hurt his foot when he's playing in the Central America games.
Yeah.
They won it, and he was in the locker room celebrating, and he hurt his foot celebrating, and he was out for 2 months.
My gosh.
But his stats, I'm not a huge fan of his, but he's somebody that you can actually move because he's available in many positions.
Okay.
But I'm not a huge fan of his, but there's be a lot of good pickups during the season. Who's your outfield?
I got Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Trey Mancini, and Brandon Nimmo. And I've got Yuli Gurriel at utility. And on the bench, I got John Birdie, Ryan Mountcastle, Eduardo Escobar, and Clint Frazier.
Now, with your league, keeping points, you don't need to keep that many hitters on the bench to be a lot of people available.
Good to know.
And you're not going to be, a lot of guys. I know they have different off weeks and off days, but don't worry about that. But you can stack up on pitchers, and with the points league, you want to stack up on middle relief and relief pitchers because you can start them every day, and because they could be playing or they not be playing, but at least you have a shot at getting points that day compared to pitchers who are not going to be playing.
Yeah.
So you want to pick up you want guys with saves because that means something in points. I don't know if holds means anything in your league, but if it does, you want to pick up guys that are going to get you some hold points.
Okay.
But you want to stack. You want to get rid of a few of your hitters. You don't need to have that many hitters on your team on your bench. It's a waste of time. You want to pick up some relief pitchers, and you want to pick up You really want to pick up relief pitchers and put them in the pitching spots. Because having starters taking those pitching spots in a points league is kind of like a waste. Because it's like once every 5 days they get points for you. So that's another little hint I'll give you with a points league, because it's a lot different than rotisserie and head to head. But it sounds like a great team. Thanks for subscribing.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Tell your friends we have a lot of good stuff coming out during baseball season. We're actually doing a weekly. We actually have an interview with the Hall of Famer on Friday, which we're going to air on Monday.
Okay.
Which you'll be shocked who it is. So please let San Antonio. Well, I'll let you know, but it's our secret. We're having Tim Raines is going to be our guest. Rock Raines, Hall of Famer, 3,000 hits, third all-time stolen bases. This guy's unbelievable. He's going to be the guest on Monday. You'll be seeing the show. It's going to be great. We're premiering this new show with Tony Todd, who's actually an actor, and he's actually a great athlete too. But Tony Todd's going to be my co-host with Dr. Dan Ratner. We're doing a baseball show, and we're doing that every week. We're having another huge star on, so it's gonna be great.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, and just keep on asking me questions if there's anything you want to know. We do a lot of content here, but you can come on anytime and just ask us a question if you have a question. But good luck this season.
Thank you.
It's a nice guy. I like that guy. San Antonio, Texas. Beautiful place to live. I've been there many times. It's where the Alamo is actually. They have the Riverwalk, which is a beautiful place to drink and have a great time. A lot of stuff to do in San Antonio. But it's that easy. You come on, you tell me who your team is. I'll comment. I'll tell you how to win your league. See how I gave him little tips. See what I did? I didn't he's a newbie, doesn't know what to do. I told him to get rid of some of his players, pick up these players. He's going to win his league. Ross the boss is I'm like a miracle worker here. I help people. I should get a medal. Don't you think? Type some comments. Let me know what's going on. We'll talk more NBA. Let's talk, the MVP now is wide open for the NBA. So with LeBron going down, Joel Embiid going down, let me know who you guys think is going to MVP. These are my top 4 candidates for the MVP now. LeBron's out of the mix. Embiid's out of the mix. My number one guy, it depends how Denver does, but I like Joker just because his stats are insane. I don't know if you see what his stats like, but it's unbelievable. He's probably number one, but Denver does not make the playoffs. He does not become MVP. Greek Freak, same stats as last year. He won the MVP twice. He hasn't changed at all. I mean, his stats almost the same. Milwaukee's not playing that great. They're not the team they used to be because they don't have the best record right now. But that all being said, doesn't matter. Greek Freak is number 2 in my book. Dame Lillard, number 3. I don't know if you guys watch this guy play. I know he plays in a small market team in Portland. He's unbelievable. I love Dame Lillard. I just feel that he's in a small market, but Portland's playing well. He's been carrying that team ever since CJ McCollum's went down. He's my number 3 for MVP, and number 4, just because he went to the same college as Ross the Boss, is James Harden. Harden he's the only guy on that team on Brooklyn that hasn't been hurt. He's been carrying that team. Durant was my pick to win the MVP beginning of the season, and he's been hurt the whole year. Another guy that screwed Ross the Boss, because he's been hurt the whole season. I really thought he's going to make a huge comeback, MVP, everything else. No, he didn't do that. it was just a disappointment after disappointment with him. I'm so upset about that. But Durant has not been playing. Irving's been either he's personal reasons or he's hurt or whatever, but he doesn't play every day. Harden's the only guy that plays every day in Brooklyn, and they've been winning. They've been playing great, and he's been getting assists. I mean, Harden, he could win his second MVP. It could happen. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Harden won the MVP. Let me know who your MVP is. I'm curious. I'm just curious to see who you guys think. If I'm missing anybody, if you think Kawhi Leonard should be an MVP, who as you guys know, I love Kawhi Leonard. I think he's one of the best players in the league. I just don't feel he's having an MVP year. But if somebody said Kawhi Leonard won the MVP this year, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's great. You know, he's a Clipper. He went to San Diego State. I love the guy. He's a very nice guy. He gives a lot back to the community. It's all good. But let me know who you're thinking for MVP this year in the league. I do feel that it's kind of wide open after LeBron went down and Embiid went down. I thought those two guys were actually like one of those guys going to win the MVP this year, especially LeBron. We got a question. Bob Golub, who's actually in the new Denzel Washington movie, which I watched. He was terrific. He was also in Goodfellas. Great actor. Okay, Bob, let me hear. Okay, your question is this. Yeah, but you got to watch out. Portland is a party time. What do you mean party time? What are you nuts? A party town. So Portland, it's not a party town. It's more of like every night there's like a protest in Portland. There's a lot of destruction going on, but all that stuff's gone anyway. Portland's not a party town. Party town is like New Orleans. That's a party town. Not Portland. Portland's a bunch of hippies. They're all getting stoned. It's not a party town. They all walk around like zombies. You don't know what you're talking about. But Bob Golub, unbelievable athlete, all-American wrestler, boxer, very funny comedian. Guys can look him up. He actually has something that I'm jealous of. Bob Golub has a video of Wilt Chamberlain's high school game when he played a small school in Pennsylvania. Remember, he was like 7 feet tall in high school, and his team never lost. He played this small little crappy school in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania in the playoffs. And this little crappy school won. They beat Wilt Chamberlain's team. And they didn't have a 7-footer. They had like all these like guys that are like 6 feet tall. But Bob Golub has the video of this. And I told him I'll make a movie of it and I'll star as the coach of the other team. Bob Golub. So you should come on air with me. It's very easy. All you do is type in your computer, call mfsn.com, and you can be on air. We could go back and forth instead of this typing. I think Leonard should be MVP. Listen, I love Kawhi. I saw it. Look at his stats. I'm not disagreeing with you, but again, if you look at the Clippers, they have Paul George that takes votes away from them. I just feel Paul George and Leonard on the same team. I just feel a lot of votes are taken away because of Paul George. Kawhi is my fifth MVP this year. I want him to win the MVP, but I don't agree with you. I mean, Lillard's been a maniac, and I like Harden a lot this year, as we discussed. And look at Joker for Denver. He's unbelievable. He's been great. But Bob Golub, come on the air with me. We'll talk sports. I know you're a big Pirate guy. I know you love the Steelers. I know you wrestled, you boxed, you did all these great sports things. Come on, we'll talk about anything you want. We'll talk boxing. I love boxing. I'm a boxing analyst. I know everything about boxing. We could talk about boxing. I'd be happy to talk boxing with you, Bob. Just come on, and let's go back to the NBA. We lost one of our favorite players. I used to see him all the time when I went to Clipper games. Elgin Baylor passed away, age 86, NBA Hall of Famer. He was executive of the year in 2007 for the LA Clippers. He was icon. I used to see him around town all the time, and now he's gone. It's a sad day in basketball yesterday. Elgin will miss you. Bob Golub, who's going to win March Madness? I said this in the show. I feel, as much as I did not think they're going to win, I think Gonzaga is the team to beat right now. I picked Baylor, so I think Gonzaga is the favorite. I think Baylor is number 2. And then my number 3 is Michigan. Number 4 is Bama. Those are my 4 top schools right now. But it's wide open, Bob. I mean, I would never think there'd be 4 Pac-12 teams left. 4 Pac-12 teams out of 5 are still left in the tournament. 9 Big Ten teams started, only 1 left. What does that tell you? I mean, it's unpredictable. It's so much fun to watch. I know people are upset. Oh, there's no good teams in anymore. I'm not going to watch Oral Roberts. Shut up. You watch any team that's out there. It's fun to watch. I love Loyola Marymount too. I love that team. They're great to watch. They're fun. Christmas tournament. I'm not quite sure what that means. Bob's asking me. I'm not quite sure what you mean, but let me know. You should come on the air. That all being said, with the NCAA tournament, it is, guys, you have to admit, I mean, did you predict any of the stuff that's going on with the NCAA tournament? I mean, except for Gonzaga and Baylor? I mean, all these other schools, we have a 15 seed still left in the school. As I mentioned, Oral Roberts, named after a minister who was begging for $8 million about 20 years ago. His school's still left in it. We got Loyola Marymount, who's a small little school in the middle of Chicago. They're still in it. Oregon State, that was predicted coming last in the Pac-12. They're even still in it. The only reason they're in the tournament is because they won the Pac-12 tournament. The only reason they got in. And they're like top 16. Well, we got teams like Oklahoma State, Illinois, and all these other teams are just packed. They already packed up and left. So please let me know who you guys like. Bob, who do you like in the tournament? I know you're a basketball guy. I know you follow basketball. We talked about it. Tell me who you like in the NCAA tournament. We like, there's no wrong answer anymore. I have messages I want to say, oh my God, I can't believe you like that team. I'm not saying that. People predicted Oral Roberts, and I was like, I can't believe you like that team. Now they're in the Sweet 16. I mean, if you watch our show, Dr. Dan Ratner said Oral Roberts. I mean, he's like a genius. He's like a genius, that guy. It's unbelievable. I would never pick Oral Roberts. I'd never pick Oregon State. I would never pick USC. I'd never pick UCLA. All these teams are still in it. I mean, all these teams are still in the tournament, and I don't know how you predicted. I mean, there can't be any more buddy that has a perfect tournament record right now. There's no way. I mean, it's impossible with all the upsets. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched Kansas yesterday, but Kansas, who was a 3 seed, played USC. USC didn't beat them. They destroyed them. At one time, it was over 40 points. It was unbelievable. And Kansas, they're good. They're not a bad team. It's not like, oh, they're Ross. Well, they're not that good. They were a 3 seed, and throughout the year, they were in the top 10. And USC has these 2 guys, the 2 brothers, Mobley. One guy's 7 feet something, and the other guy's like 6'9", 6'8". I mean, these guys are both pro prospects. Probably that Mobley, who's 7 feet, he'll be a top 3 pick. I mean, it's unbelievable. USC is unbelievable. USC could win it. You heard it from me. I mean, USC is that good. And Gonzaga, I mean, Suggs, top 5 pick NBA. He's a freshman. He's unbelievable. I don't think he'll stay. I think he'll leave. I think he'll leave. He's a great shooter, great defender. I just feel Gonzaga right now, they're playing the best basketball. I don't think they've been I feel they haven't been tested, but they beat Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma's not a bad team. They're a top 20 team, and they beat them. So what does that prove to you guys? I mean, so if you're watching NCAA, I enjoy the tournament. I really don't watch NBA when the NCAA is on. I just watch NCAA. I enjoy it. And the whole thing is you should watch it. It's great. It's great TV. And plus all those great commercials that Charles Barkley's on with Spike Lee. I mean, I love those commercials. Those are hilarious, and then you got Reggie Miller doing Wendy's commercials with Kenny Smith. I wonder how many commercials Charles Barkley's in. I mean, I feel like when I watch the NCAA tournament, I feel that Charles Barkley's in every commercial. I mean, and Kenny Smith. I mean, I think they switch off. I mean, I don't think there's a commercial. I want to count next time how many Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley commercials there are. If you guys are watching, make sure you count how many commercials you see one of those 2 guys in, and let me know, because it's a lot. I mean, I think off the commercials alone, these guys are making a fortune. I mean, it's unbelievable. But again, please watch NCAA basketball. I love talking about it. So please ask me a question about it. Let me know what you think. So there you go. I enjoy doing this show. I enjoy talking sports with you. I wish we could stay longer. But again, my producer says I can't. As much as I'd love to stick, I have more stuff to talk about, even though I'm losing my voice. Well, okay, well, you know what? I'm not listening to my producers. I'm going to talk for 2 more minutes. How do you like that, everybody? I don't care what they have to tell. Nobody tells Ross the Boss what to do. Are you crazy? I'm going to talk more. I want to talk about NBA. I'm not done with the NBA. I want to talk about, the injury is killing the game right now. Embiid's out. LeBron's out. LaMelo Ball's out for the year. We got players like Jimmy Butler was out off and on during the year. We got COVID to worry about. So all that being said, if you're a team that's in the middle of playoff run right now, you got to stack up and get some of these free agents like Boogie Cousins. He's available. You don't have to even trade for him. You just call him on the phone. Hey, Boogie, Ross the Boss, I want to pay you this much to finish the year with my team. Are you available? Yes, sir. You got Boogie Cousins on your team. You got to start filling the roster spots now, NBA, because, there's going to be more injuries. There's going to be more COVID stuff going on, as much as I hate to say it. But they're not moving at all with any of these trades. I'm sitting here like, okay, the trade deadline is in 2 days. When are we going to see some action? We don't see anything. The only thing I heard is Blake Griffin joined Brooklyn, and he got his first dunk last week in 2 years. That's the big news. So that all being said, NBA, let's move it quickly. I need results. I'm tired of sitting here like an idiot waiting for you guys to make deals and trades. It's, we need results. Everybody's team is getting hurt. We need to stack our rosters. Heard it from me first. I'm Ross the Boss. Guys, thanks for coming on. Subscribe, press the bell, press the like. Go to Instagram and like MFSN, or even go to TikTok if you want. I enjoy TikTok. I do videos for TikTok. Hilarious videos. Funny stuff. I did one last night. Even go to Facebook. Go anywhere. Just subscribe. Have fun. We'll be here next week. I'm Ross the Boss, and I love talking sports with you, cowboy.
We're gonna set the internet on